$1,247. That's your balance, not your savings, your balance. You check it at 11:43 p.m., lying in bed. The mattress was secondhand, bought off someone on Facebook Marketplace. You've been meaning to replace it for 2 years. The ceiling is the same one it was last year. Same crack, same water stain, same feeling that nothing is moving. You're not broke. You keep saying that, but $1,247 has a real name in finance, and it isn't doing fine. Let's be frank. Nobody ever laid out the full map, level by level, and told you exactly what each one requires. Not the Instagram version, not the highlight reel version, the honest version, with the real numbers and the real cost. There are 8 levels between net worth 0 and $100 million. Most people spend their entire lives on the bottom 3. Every level has a different game, a different enemy, and a different version of you that either makes it through or doesn't. Frank's truth number 1. The level you're on right now isn't a character flaw, it's a reflection of what you were never taught. The math doesn't care where you started. It only cares what you do with the next 12 months. Starting tonight, here's every level, what it takes, what it costs, and where the real turns are. Pay close attention. The numbers here aren't inspirational. They're structural. This is how the levels actually work, whether you look at them or not. Level 1. Net worth? Negative. You owe more than you own, precise, patient, and answering to your name. Student loans. A car you needed to get to the job. Medical bills from a year you don't like thinking about. The average American under 35 carries $42,000 in debt. Not as a moral failure, but as a structural outcome. The math at level 1 is quiet and patient. It doesn't yell. It just compounds, adding interest while you sleep. Here's where it turns. Debt has a mirror image. The same compounding force that built the whole can reverse it. A friend. Call him Marcus. He graduated with $62,000 in student loans on a starting salary of $38,000 a year. He paid the minimum for 8 months, then shifted. $150 extra to principal every single month. No exceptions, no pauses. The honest number? $150 extra a month saved Marcus $14,200 in interest and cut 4 years off his loan. He didn't find a side hustle. He didn't get a windfall. He just understood that extra principal kills the compound clock. The enemy at level 1 isn't a creditor. It's the story that says the whole is permanent, that you'll always owe someone. That story is the real debt. The dollar amount is just math, and math can be reversed. Level 1 has a door. Level 2, net worth 0. Not positive, not negative, just even. For the first time in your adult life. This doesn't feel like winning. 0 feels like showing up late to a race where everyone else already got a head start. But you're wrong about what it means. 0 is the moment the math flips, compounding for you instead of against you. The danger at level 2 is the same trap that sends people straight back to level 1, the reward trap. You've been grinding 2 years to clear the debt, telling yourself, when this is done, you'll finally give yourself a real reward. So you do. New car, nicer apartment, a flight somewhere warm. You borrowed against the first real ground you've ever owned. Level 2 has a 6-month window where your lifestyle hasn't caught up to your cleared balance. That window closes fast. Run it yourself. Open a Roth IRA at level 2 and put in $200 a month. At 7% over 30 years, that's $243,000. That $243,000 doesn't come from being brilliant. It comes from one decision made inside that 6-month window at level 2. Frank's truth number 2. 0 is not the finish line. It is the gate. Everything real starts on the other side of this. Most people cross the gate, look around for a reward, build themselves a new cage, and find themselves back at level 1. Level 3. Net worth, $1,000 to $25,000. For the first time, you have a real foundation, a fully funded emergency account. 3 months, maybe 4, in a high-yield account earning real interest, not your bank's 0.01%. You've started a retirement account. Contributions are small, $50, maybe $100 a month. The amount matters less than the habit. Here's where it turns. Level 3 is the first time in your life that time, not income, is your most powerful tool. The enemy at level 3 is invisible. Lifestyle creep. Quietly expanding your spending to absorb every raise, every bonus you get. Dana got a $6,000 raise and immediately signed a lease $500 a month more expensive. $6,000 in, $6,000 rerouted. The raise didn't make Dana richer, it made her apartment nicer, and her retirement account stayed at zero for another 2 years. Run it yourself. $500 a month invested at 7% over 25 years becomes $408,000. That's what the nicer apartment actually cost. Dana didn't lose $500 a month. She traded $408,000 in future net worth for a room she'll leave in 2 years anyway. The discipline at level 3 is simple and brutal. Capture every raise before your lifestyle even knows it landed. You don't announce it. You don't post it. The people building hardest at level 3 are invisible. And that's exactly the point. Level 3 teaches you the only number that actually matters. Not your salary, not your portfolio, your savings rate. Frank's truth number 3. Saving isn't how you get to level 8, but it's the only door that opens into level 4. Level 4. Net worth. $25,000 to $100,000. This is the level most financial content forgets to describe. Most advice stops at build an emergency fund. It never tells you what happens when the account wakes up and starts moving. The first $100,000 is the hardest milestone. Not because the math is brutal, but because the progress is nearly invisible. At $5,000 invested, a 7% return earns you $350 a year. You'd barely notice. And that's exactly why people quit here. At $50,000, that same 7% becomes $3,500 a year. Money appearing without your labor attached, just by staying invested. At $100,000, that 7% is $7,000 a year. Your money just got its own part-time job, and it doesn't complain. Here's where it turns. Cross $100,000, and the machine finds its own momentum, compounding toward you. Not just with you. Call him Elias. He hit $50,000 net worth at 31. Salary of $55,000, no inheritance, no windfall. Elias saved 18% of every paycheck, drove his car 11 years, and had a roommate until age 29. Nobody at his office knew. Nobody at his gym knew. That's not deprivation. That's the invisible architecture of level 4. The enemy at level 4 is comparison. Everyone around you spending up, making your quiet discipline look like you're losing. Frankly, the people posting vacations at 27 are often renting forever at 42. Math doesn't care how it looks. Frank's truth number 4. The first $100,000 feels like climbing through sand. Every dollar after it feels like it's climbing for you. Level 5. Net worth, $100,000 to $500,000. The pace changes here, and it changes quietly. Your portfolio is now generating real money on its own. Money that arrives every month without your labor attached to it. A $200,000 portfolio at 7% returns $14,000 a year, roughly $1,166 a month, without you adding a single dollar more. Here's where it turns. At level 5, you're managing 2 income streams, one from your work, one from the machine. This is the level where the math starts feeling different. Less like sacrifice, more like inevitability. Stay in, and it arrives. Level 5 wasn't built in one moment. It was built in thousands of ordinary moments where you kept the money in. The enemy at level 5 is affordability. You finally earned the right to spend, and the machine doesn't care about your feelings. The upgrade you deferred for a decade suddenly looks reasonable. New house, better car, a kitchen that feels like you've finally arrived. Some of it is reasonable. Some is a wealth killer wearing reasonable clothing. The honest number will always tell you which. The honest number. A $300,000 mortgage at 7% costs roughly $720,000 total. The interest alone adds $420,000 to the sticker price. That $420,000 in interest separates staying at level 5 from crossing into level 6. Paid quietly to the bank over 30 years. You weren't reckless. The bank never shows you $720,000. They show you $1,996 a month. And that number always looks manageable. Frank's truth number 5. The machine will sell you the next level before you've built this one. And the interest never stops. Level 5 ends where it started, patience. But the patience has been stress tested now, and the test is worth describing. The market dropped 22% in 1 quarter. Your account was down $46,000 in 6 weeks. Every instinct said sell, and you didn't. 14 months later, the account was higher than ever. Not bravery, just knowledge. You knew what you owned, and you held it. That's the real graduation from level 5, not the number. It's when panic stops running your financial decisions. You're not rich yet, but you're no longer working for survival. You're working for optionality. The pressure has a different texture now. At $500,000 net worth, you have more financial security than 90% of American households. It's not the ceiling. It's the starting line. Frank's truth number 6. Every level teaches the same lesson in a different currency. Discipline at level 3 is clarity at level 6. Level 6. Net worth, $500,000 to $1 million. For the first time, more Americans are below you than above. Your $500,000 portfolio is now generating $35,000 a year at 7%, on its own, unprompted, whether you add to it or not. $35,000 a year, arriving automatically, without an alarm clock, without a commute, without answering to a single person. Here's where it turns, at level 6. The math works faster than you do if you resist the pull to ease off. The enemy at level 6 is the arrival feeling, the quiet voice that says you've earned the right to stop grinding. You haven't made it. You're at the gate of the last hard stretch, the one between $800,000 and the first million. The stretch from $800,000 to $1 million is the most psychologically brutal leg of the climb. The number looks so close, but $200,000 is still $200,000. It doesn't shrink because you can see the finish. The math doesn't care about your fatigue. At level 6, the machine is closing the gap for you. $35,000 to $50,000 a year, automatically, just by staying invested. The honest number? At level 6. Time matters more than income. The machine will find $1 million, if you leave it alone. Frank's truth number 7. The final $100,000 to $1 million isn't earned, it's waited for. The machine builds it while you sleep. Level 7. Net worth, $1 million to $10 million. The milestone people dream about, and it lands nothing like the dream. The first million doesn't arrive with fireworks. No notification, you open the account, and the number just sits there. Past the comma. I know, because I've been here. The first million feels like a quiet Tuesday, not a victory lap. What changes is the math. Only the math. A $1 million portfolio at 7% generates $70,000 a year. Automatically, without negotiation. $70,000 a year, above the U.S. median individual income, arriving without a salary, a boss, or a single hour of your labor. The enemy at level 7 is sudden freedom. When you no longer have to, you can lose the discipline that built everything. I've watched people reach $2 million and spend back to $400,000 in 4 years. The million didn't change them. The freedom did. Level 7 is the first level where the machine can outrun bad decisions. If, and only if, you leave the core untouched. Spend $70,000 a year in lifestyle and the machine stands still. It grew exactly as much as you spent. Net game? 0. Frank's truth number 8. The first million is a character test. Most people pass the math and fail the freedom. Here's where it turns. The path from $1 million to $5 million is the same path. More zeros, fewer excuses, same machine. At $2 million, the machine generates $140,000 a year. At $5 million, $350,000, more than most American households earn in total. You are no longer just building wealth. You have built a second economy, running parallel to your life, growing without your supervision. The work at level 7 is no longer addition, it's allocation. Where does the machine's income go? That decision now defines everything. The people who make it from $1 million to $10 million don't change their lifestyle dramatically. They change where the surplus goes. Frank's truth number 9. The gap between $1 million and $10 million is one repeated decision. Reinvest the returns or spend them. Level 8. Net worth, $10 million to $100 million. Most people never see this level, but the math still applies. At $10 million, the machine generates $700,000 a year, more than most people earn in a decade. Generates arriving every 12 months. This is a different country, different laws of money, different problems, a different kind of pressure. Most financial content never describes. The enemy at level 8 isn't spending, it's complexity. The machine has so many parts now that mismanagement becomes the real risk. Tax structure, estate planning, asset allocation across real estate, equities, private holdings. The machine now requires a team, not just a plan. Here's where it turns, at level 8. Your biggest financial enemy isn't the market. It's the advisors who profit from your complexity. The wrong advisor at level 8 charges you an opportunity cost, misallocated assets, silent underperformance, decisions made for their commission. At $100 million, the machine is no longer personal finance. It's institutional. Foundations, trusts, generational planning. The math thinks in decades. Frank's truth number 10. At level 8. Your money outlives its original purpose. The machine now thinks beyond your lifetime. $100 million at 7% generates $7 million a year, enough to change the financial trajectory of a family for generations. This is the level where money stops being about you and starts being about everyone who comes after you. Not everyone reaches level 8, but the same material builds every level. Patience, math, a rate held when nothing felt certain. From $1,247 on a secondhand mattress to untouchable at $100 million. The same machine. You just have to stay in the room. The math you just saw runs 24 hours a day, for everyone, at every income level, in both directions. The same compound machine that builds level 7 also builds the debt at level 1. Same rules, same math, opposite direction. The system has a preferred customer, someone who earns enough to borrow, but not enough to build. That's a product category. At level 1, the machine charges you 24%. At level 7, it pays you 7%. Same math, different side of the ledger. The system isn't malicious, it's mathematical. It compounds in whichever direction you point it. You can point it toward you. The machine wasn't designed against you, it was designed for profit. Your use of it for yourself is just the unpublicized option. The rules of the machine are public, consistent, and identical for everyone. The only variable is whether you know them. You weren't locked out by luck. You were locked out by a curriculum that taught checkbook balancing and called it financial education. The gap between level 1 and level 7 is almost always the map. Who had it and who didn't? Frank's truth number 11. The system isn't your enemy. Not knowing how the system works is. And that's finally, tonight, behind you. You weren't reckless. You weren't lazy. You were inside a machine nobody handed you the manual to. And that's not trivial. The manual exists. It's not secret, not reserved for the right school or the right family. It just wasn't handed to you. Tonight it was. You were never wrong about yourself. You were just working without the full picture. Now you have it. It's 11:43 p.m. again. Same ceiling, same secondhand mattress, same phone in your hand, same number on the screen. $1,247. The number hasn't moved, the room hasn't changed, but something in the room is different from 40 minutes ago. You have the map. Not the inspiration, the map. The honest numbers, the levels, the turns where the math changes direction. The math that kept you at $1,247 is the same math that builds level 2, pointed in a different direction. The machine doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care how late you think you're starting. It only cares about direction. Every person who reached level 7 started somewhere, with a number that felt permanent and a ceiling they knew by heart. What separated them wasn't income or timing. It was the map, and the discipline to use it when it was hard. Tomorrow you put $50 into a Roth IRA, $100 extra to the debt. Nobody knows. The machine starts anyway. In 3 years, you've crossed level 2. In 7, you're at level 3 with a foundation that didn't exist tonight. In 15 years, no one who knew you at $1,247 can recognize the distance between where you started and where you are. That distance wasn't luck. It wasn't a windfall. It was a map. Used on a Tuesday when nothing felt possible. The number will change. The ceiling will change. The mattress will be replaced. The math is always the same. The machine runs on patience. Patience runs on knowing what you're building. And tonight, for the first time, you know. The math doesn't care that you started at $1,247. It doesn't care about the mattress, the ceiling, the 11:43 p.m. refresh. It only cares what you do next. The math doesn't care. The next move is still yours. Every week on this channel, another level, another honest number, another turn in the map they never handed you. No courses, no pitch, no promise of results that nobody can guarantee. Just the frank version, with the math showing. If nobody in your life ever gave you the frank version of how this works, this is what this channel is for. Subscribe if this was the version you needed. You won't miss the next one, and the next map is just as honest.